A stranger showed up at my wedding, carrying my father's watch. I thought nothing could make my wedding day more emotional than seeing my father's empty chair. I was wrong. The church was quiet as the music began. Every guest stood smiling, waiting for the ceremony to start. I stood at the altar trying to stay calm, but my eyes kept drifting toward the front row. One chair sat empty, decorated with a single white rose. That seat belonged to my father. 4 years earlier, cancer had taken him from us, just months after I proposed. Before he passed away, he squeezed my hand and whispered, "No matter what happens, I'll be there when you get married." I wanted to believe him, but standing there without him felt like the hardest moment of my life. Just then, the church doors slowly opened. An elderly man, wearing a dark brown coat, quietly stepped inside. Nobody recognized him. He wasn't dressed like the other guests, and he wasn't carrying a wedding gift. Instead, he held a small wooden box tightly against his chest. The room fell silent as he slowly walked toward me. He stopped only a few feet away and smiled. "I hope I'm not too late," he said softly. Before I could answer, he placed the box in my hands. My fingers trembled as I opened it. Inside was my father's silver watch. I stared at it in disbelief. The cracked glass, the worn leather strap, the tiny scratch near the buckle. It was impossible to mistake. That watch had disappeared after my father's funeral. We searched everywhere but never found it. I looked at the stranger. "How do you have this?" He smiled gently. "Your father gave it to me." He explained that 10 years earlier his truck had crashed during a snowstorm. It rolled into a ditch and the engine caught fire. Cars drove past without stopping. Then my father pulled over, climbed into the wreckage, and dragged him to safety only moments before the flames spread. When I tried to reward him, the man said, he refused every dollar. He told me that kindness should never come with a price. The two of them stayed friends for years. Then, shortly before your father passed away, he called me to his house. He removed this watch from his wrist, placed it in my hands, and made me promise something. "If I'm gone before my son's wedding," he said, "give this back to him on that day. Tell him I never stopped believing in him. Tell him I'll always be proud to call him my son." By then, tears were running down my face. My mother quietly covered her mouth as she cried it. The stranger gently rested his hand on my shoulder. "There's one more thing," he whispered. "Your father smiled before I left and said, 'No matter where I am, I'll find a way to keep my promise.'" I fastened the watch around my wrist. A moment later, the church doors opened again. My bride appeared. She walked toward me, noticed the watch, smiled through her tears, and softly whispered, "Looks like you made it after all." After the ceremony, I turned around to thank the stranger. He was gone. No goodbye, no name, just an empty aisle. And my father's watch. Sometimes the people we love leave this world, but real love never leaves our lives. And every time I hear that watch tick, it reminds me that a father's promise can outlast time itself.